called the same police she voted against giving a Congressional Gold Medal to for defending our Capitol against the insurrection she helped incite. Misspelled your, of course, already inspiring fantasies of violence against me. How many new death threats will I get that are your fans? The people she wanted to defund. It's amazing how quickly you can go from these liberals who can't see anything anymore to, what'd you say? I'm calling the cops.
What happens when a late-night host's joke lands him in hot water with the law? Jimmy Kimmel found out when he made a crack about Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she responded by calling the cops. Yes, you heard that right. A member of Congress tried to sick the police on a comedian. But here's the kicker. Instead of shutting Kimmel up, MTG's overreaction turned into a comedy goldmine. From Twitter memes to fellow comedians piling on, the joke spread faster than a conspiracy theory at a QAnon meeting. Curious how Kimmel turned this political facepalm into a ratings bonanza? Keep watching. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Well, folks, it looks like we've got a new contender for the Most Ridiculous Reaction to a Joke award. Move over, Will Smith. Marjorie Taylor Greene is here to show us how it's really done. Remember when politicians used to debate? Well, MTG decided to skip that whole exchange of ideas thing and go straight for the 911 speed dial. Our favorite space laser enthusiast heard Kimmel's joke, and boy, did she not like it. Instead of laughing it off, or I don't know, coming up with a witty comeback, she decided to treat comedy like it was a felony. MTG's reaction was about as subtle as a bull in a china shop wearing tap shoes. She claimed Kimmel's joke was a dog whistle to the violent left to assault me or worse.
As I appear to have run afoul of probably the worst woman in American politics, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And by the way, if she's going to report me to the police, if that's how she wants to play it, I'll report you right back. And I won't go to the police. The congressperson from the 14th District of Georgia is unhappy. She's specifically unhappy with me. She's had a tough couple of days.
Wow, who knew comedians had such power? I guess we should be grateful she didn't accuse Kimmel of using his late-night sorcery to summon the ghost of George Carlin. But wait, it gets better. MTG's tweet storm was like watching someone try to put out a fire with gasoline. She went full Karen and actually filed a police report. I can just imagine the conversation. Hello, 911. I'd like to report a severe case of hurt feelings. Turns out calling the cops on a joke is a great way to become one yourself. The Capitol Police, who usually deal with serious threats, probably thought they were being punked. I mean, can you imagine the water cooler talk? So Johnson, what did you do today? Oh, you know, just investigated a dangerous punchline. It was armed with sarcasm and everything.
A lovely thing to say. So I made a joke. I said, where is Will Smith when you need him? And now she's dialing 911 because she got made fun of. She's a snowflake and a sociopath at the same time. And she decided she was going to try to get some political mileage out of this. This is what she does instead of working. She tweets.
Of course, Kimmel wasn't about to let this golden opportunity slip by. He tweeted, "Officer, I'd like to report a joke," proving once again that in the battle of wits, he's bringing a bazooka to MTG's spitball fight. The internet, being the internet, had an absolute field day. Memes spread faster than MTG's conspiracy theories at a flat earth convention.
Called the same police she voted against giving a Congressional Gold Medal to for defending our Capitol against the insurrection she helped incite. Misspelled your, of course, already inspiring fantasies of violence against me. How many new death threats will I get that are your fans? The people she wanted to defund. It's amazing how quickly you can go from these liberals who can't see anything anymore to, what'd you say? I'm calling the cops.
One popular meme showed MTG in a police uniform chasing after joke-shaped criminals. I guess in her world, the only thing that should be punching up is her fist at the sky, yelling at passing clouds. Social media users, not content with just sitting back and enjoying the show, decided to join in on the fun.
After she saw it, she tweeted, ABC contacts my employer. This threat of violence against me by Jimmy Kimmel, very rich that a person who did this in her campaign ad is suddenly whining about fantasies of violence, has been filed with the Capitol Police. She called the police and reported this. Not only did she call the police,
the hashtag #DasherJokePolice started trending, with people declaring themselves part of an elite force sworn to protect and serve punchlines. I hear their badge is just a whoopee cushion with a pin stuck through it. Just when we thought the comedy police had wrapped up their investigation, the Big Cheese himself decided to weigh in. Yep, folks, our former tweeter-in-chief couldn't resist jumping into the fray to defend MTG's honor. Because if there's one thing Trump knows, it's comedy, right? I mean, who could forget his greatest hits, like windmills cause cancer and inject bleach to cure COVID? Pure comedy gold, I tell ya. So what did the orange turd have to say? Well, he took to Truth Social, because Twitter is so 2021, to call Jimmy Kimmel a failed comedian. Talk about the pot calling the kettle orange. It's like a guy who thinks kafef is a real word trying to critique Shakespeare. But hey, at least Trump's consistent. He's been bombing on stage since his presidential debates. Now, you might be wondering how Kimmel responded to this unexpected roast from the comedy connoisseur himself.
I tweeted back, I wrote, "Officer, I'd like to report a joke." After processing the fact that someone called the police on me. Believe it or not, this has never happened to me in my life. This afternoon, she wrote, "You weren't joking. You hide your misogyny and your racism behind your jokes on ABC."
Well, our late night hero didn't miss a beat. He fired back with, "I'm just glad to know that I'm living rent-free in your head, Donald." Ouch! That's gotta hurt more than a diet of nothing but hamburgers and Diet Coke. But here's the kicker. Trump's attempt at a sick burn backfired faster than you can say person, woman, man, camera, TV. The public reaction to Donnie Diaper's comments was about as positive as a COVID test at a MAGA rally. People were quick to point out the irony of Trump, the butt of more jokes than a clown college, trying to critique anyone's comedic talent. It's like watching a fish critique someone's running technique. And it wasn't just the public having a field day with Trump's tweet. The comedy world couldn't resist taking a few swings at the low-hanging fruit. Trevor Noah, always ready with a zinger, compared Trump's defense of MTG to a disaster movie crossover. He said, "It was like the Titanic trying to rescue the Hindenburg." Now that's an image that'll stick with you longer than Trump's spray tan. But here's the real punchline, folks. While Grumpy Trumpy was busy playing comedy critic, something magical was happening over at ABC. Kimmel's ratings started soaring higher than Trump's ego after a Diet Coke and 2 scoops of ice cream. Turns out all that free publicity from the former president was better than any ad campaign money could buy. Who knew that being called a failed comedian by a failed president could be so good for business? Well, folks, it looks like our favorite late-night jokester just taught a masterclass in the art of political comedy. Who knew that a few well-timed quips could send the bigwigs into such a tizzy? It turns out that in the world of politics, laughter really is the best medicine, and apparently the most potent weapon. But here's the kicker. Trying to silence a comedian is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. The more they try to shut him up, the louder the laughter gets. It's like the universe has a twisted sense of humor, turning every attempt to squash the jokes into comedy gold. Talk about a backfire of epic proportions. So what's the lesson here? Maybe it's that in a world full of serious faces and stern tweets, a good laugh is worth its weight in gold. Or maybe it's just that when you're dealing with the pros of political satire, you'd better bring your A game or prepare to be the punchline.